Hi, this is Billie Beene here with a U.S. news flash update. Some of the things we'll be covering, definitely the weather. So we have the US-Tropics, 3 incidents. Texas will experience 2. We have a U.S. heat dome over the U.S. coming up to affect 265 million people. We have Los Angeles evacuating in some areas due to fire. Some of my sources are God in the Bible, Patriot subscriber, Stan Dayo, Beston Taylor, Hal Turner, Arizona Republic, Newsbreak, Breitbart, Daily Mail. So let's get started. I have a Patriot subscriber who's talking about mysteriously in Nokomis, Florida, at a Walmart, a mysterious container appeared, and she said on the side it has plethora at 75, and she says it's a semi-container and it's very suspect. Of a Patriot subscriber, Russia to invade the U.S. and our northern border down to Minnesota. I have another Patriot subscriber talking about the U.S. Nuclear sub we have off of Gitmo on the other side of Cuba, facing off against the Russian warship, the Admiral Gorshkov, equipped with Zircon missiles, and Russia also has a Yasin M sub there called the Kazan. And we have on the East Coast 11 Russian subs, on the West Coast 27 Russian subs covering Hawaii, Guam, up to Alaska. So yeah, it's a good time to prep and pray. Okay, what we have going on now with the what I believe will be a very active hurricane season. We have a disturbed area off of Texas in the Gulf of Mexico that's going to come in and bring us tremendous amounts of rain. In Houston, we can expect 3 to 9 inches. In San Angelo, we can expect 1 to 4. In Fort Stockton, 1 to 4. Eagle Pass, 2 to 6 inches. And this is beginning late tonight and definitely through all this week. And we will have in McAllen 2 to 6 inches. And in Austin, 2 to 6 inches. San Antonio, 3 to 9 inches. Corpus and Houston and Victoria could receive 3 to 9 inches. Maximum total is now up to 12 inches for isolated areas. So we definitely have that coming in. And we have down here near the Bay of Campeche, we have a system that is very likely to develop 70% in the next 48 hours, and the next 7 days, 70%. It's believed that this area, of which very likely may become our first named storm, tropical storm, when it reaches winds of 39 miles per hour, will likely go into Mexico and Central America. And we have off of the in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Florida, we have another area 250 miles east of Bahamas, and it also has a 30% chance of development in the next 7 days. So we see that going on. And also this week, with all these heavy rains across Texas, winds of 40 to 50 miles per hour, which may be sustained for several days in a row, according to the Texas Weather Center. We will have over the majority of the U.S., 62% of the U.S., affecting 265 million people, a heat dome, and we may have a rare event in that it will last 5 days in a row with 95 plus degrees Fahrenheit plus high humidity covering this part of the U.S. and 100 degrees Fahrenheit midweek. So we pray that our power grid stays strong. In Los Angeles, 1,200 people have had to evacuate from a town, Gorman, near Hungary Valley Park, due to a wildfires now named Post Fire, which has scorched 14,000 acres. And this happened Sunday night, June 16. 2% of the fire was contained. So we see people having to evacuate 65 miles northwest of Los Angeles from wildfires. And now we've had this. This is another report on a plane. This was also a Boeing flown by Southwest Airlines. It was going Phoenix to Oakland, and this happened May 25. It's just now coming out. Flight WN746. When it did what's called a Dutch roll, that means the plane rocked from side to side and its tail wagged back and forth. On inspection, it's been determined there were no injuries, and but the plane has to be grounded due to the damage it received. Now, this goes along with my thinking that we will see what are called microbursts on a more frequent basis. I know I heard Monkey Works recently say, if he has to be somewhere that's across the U.S., well, you're just going to have to wait on him because he's going to drive. He's not going to fly. You know, and he's a 30-year at least experience in aviation. So, yeah, I'm driving too. Now we have this from the Physicist Organization talking about space weather to protect Artemis astronauts that are being launched by NASA to the moon to build a moon base by 2030. But cosmic rays from the sun, and we know the Earth has a decreasing electromagnetic shield, but once you get out into space, if you're facing X flares and so on, that's increased cosmic radiation. So NASA is looking at ways to protect astronauts from cosmic rays. And from Newsweek, so I'm going to go over a few more weather changes that are occurring. So we have Russia, Mongolia, China. Now in Mongolia, they have what they call the DUZ, D-Z-U-D, which is a change in their weather that as a result of heat and drought, and they experience a loss of many livestock. Well, typically they have these events once every 10 years. Now in the last 10 years, they've experienced it 6 times. So we see a speeding up of weather changes on a global basis. And they had, by May, 7.1 million dead sheep, goats, and cattle. So that's going on in Mongolia. And we have now in Greece, so we have Ukraine, Turkey, Greece. In Greece, now they're experiencing heat, 40 degrees Celsius, which would be 40 degrees Celsius, high temperature in the U.S. And last year, in 2023, it was so hot in Kuwait City in the Middle East, birds fell out of the sky at 50 degrees Celsius. Now, Best and Taylor bring this out, that Standello, a physicist decades ago, said the light spectrum from the sun is changing so that the light hitting the earth is changing, and it's also changing the formulas for gasoline and other fuels. So that's going on. Now we have this. U.S. constitutional sheriffs, and I believe this came out from Best and Taylor, and also New York Prepper had some information, and I believe JW-TV. U.S. constitutional sheriffs and the FBI and the CIA are saying, yeah, all these illegals we let in, or they have pre-positioned weapons, and they're going to rise up and attack American citizens. So U.S. constitutional sheriffs expect chaos this summer. Containers are being dropped off in neighborhoods by the U.S. military, and they're being guarded by the police 24/7. New York Prepper. U.S. military plan, if we go to martial law or have, attacks on American citizens, they will shut down the interstates, and they will need to land and take off the U.S. military cargo planes. So we see a lot of things percolating. So that's going on. Now, Best and Taylor, Larry Taylor, a retired police officer, said many states had old plans that if chaos or civil war arose in the U.S., that each state had a plan to close off their borders, up to and including blowing their own bridges. And Best and Taylor, also Department of Defense, has now been connected to the COVID mRNA. We know a court recently said it's not a vax. So the Department of Defense is connected. FEMA is connected. And Larry Taylor told this interesting story. FEMA went into Louisiana after Katrina, and we're trying to confiscate food stores and weapons from Louisiana citizens. Well, they were met by the local citizens on a bridge, two ends, two groups, armed with AK-47s. FEMA left Louisiana. Remember, FEMA is not your friend. Now from Redacted. The U.S. builds secret facilities in all 50 states, not for American citizens, but for the illegals let in by the Dems in an effort to unite with the deep state to overthrow and to take down the people of the U.S. I say it's a great time to prep and pray. And this concludes my flash. I love you, and I'll see you soon.